Good morning. These are your Nassau Guardian highlights for Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, brought to you by Your Daily Bahamas Headlines, especially for people on the go and those who are visually impaired. Leading the news today, the central bank is warning that the Bahamas must remain vigilant as the war in the Middle East continues. Central Bank Governor John Rolle says economic growth is still projected for the country, but a prolonged conflict could increase costs for Bahamian consumers. Rising oil prices could lead to higher fuel, transportation, and shipping costs, which may eventually drive inflation. However, Rolle says the country's strong tourism sector and close proximity to the United States could help soften the impact compared with more distant destinations. The International Monetary Fund is projecting about 2.2% economic growth for the Bahamas in 2026, though officials say prolonged global instability could create economic pressure. In another major story, the president of the Grand Bahama Power Company says there is still no final agreement on the possible sale of the utility. Talks between the Davis administration and Canadian company Emera are continuing as the government seeks to acquire majority ownership of the power company. Parliament is expected to debate two resolutions connected to the deal, including a government guarantee for a $200 million loan to purchase the company's voting shares and another $80 million for capital improvements and operations. Also making front-page news, Prime Minister Philip Davis says a badge can never place anyone above the law. The Prime Minister is calling for a review of rules governing off-duty police officers carrying firearms, following two fatal incidents over the weekend involving off-duty officers. One case involved the shooting death of an American national outside a West Bay street establishment, while another involved a man who police say attacked an officer with a cutlass. Davis says both incidents must be fully and transparently investigated. Meanwhile, Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson says voter turnout in the next general election could be as high as 80%. The voter register currently contains more than 200,700 people, the largest number ever recorded in the Bahamas. Officials say registration activity remains strong despite concerns about voter apathy in recent years. In other national news, Prime Minister Davis has criticized opposition leader Michael Pintard's proposal to restore commercial banking services to family islands. Davis argued that eliminating the post office savings bank system would threaten jobs and remove an important service relied on by thousands of Bahamians across the archipelago. And in education news, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe partnered with DC Technology to donate 12 computers to C.I. Gibson Senior High School. The computers are expected to help students with research and coursework, particularly those who do not have access to working computers at home. Turning to the editorial page, today's editorial is titled Low Confidence in GBPC Takeover. The Guardian raises concerns about the government's plan to guarantee roughly $280 million in borrowing to facilitate the takeover of Grand Bahama Power Company. The editorial argues that the public still lacks important details about who will manage the company and how electricity costs would actually be reduced. In the letters to the editor section, the first letter, titled You Cannot Treat Your Way Out of a Prevention Problem, argues that the Bahamas must invest far more in health promotion and education to combat non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and hypertension. Another letter, titled A Troubling Disregard for Animal Life, criticizes the shooting of a family dog by a correctional officer and calls for stronger animal protection laws and better accountability. And a final tribute letter honors the life and community service of the late Nikki Gomez Dawkins, remembered for her leadership and dedication to helping others. Those are your Nassau Guardian highlights for today. Remember, an informed nation is an empowered nation. For the full stories and additional coverage, be sure to purchase a copy of today's Nassau Guardian or visit their website at thenassauguardian.com. Enjoy your day, be blessed, and be a blessing.